Welcome aboard, Cinephiles. I'm Titan. Today we will watch this fantasy movie, Crossing the Tribulation. In order to make a living, down-and-out reporter Jerry can only leave the bustling city of Boston go to the town of Banfield for an interview. But when he arrived at the farm, he found the so-called residual cattle incident just a prank by the local rockers. And just as he was about to leave, a strange female voice suddenly sounded in his ear. Follow the direction of the sound. Jerry saw a dead tree, and in a tree hole, found a doll with a strange shape. And in order not to return empty-handed, Jerry immediately crushed the doll and tried to make up a quirky story that will grab attention. When driving back to town that night, Jerry continues to perfect his fabricated news. And on the gloomy forest path, a girl in a white nightdress flashed in front of his car. But when he got out of the car to check after a car accident, there's no one on the road. Then Jerry saw the figure of the girl in the forest and followed the girl to the dead tree where he took pictures during the day. Seeing the girl turning her back to himself, crying and muttering to herself, worried about him, Jerry leaned forward, patted him on the shoulder. But the girl passed out quickly. Without any choice, Jerry can only go to the nearby priest's house for help. After diagnosis and treatment, the female doctor found that Alice woke up from a coma and was fine. Then Jerry learned from the doctor Alice is the priest's niece, and she lost her parents. And she's a congenital hearing-impaired girl. But when Jerry told the doctor that Alice had spoken, the doctor thinks he's making up a lie. Sick. Alice never said a word. The next day, Alice, who was worshiping with her uncle as usual, found when she looked at the Virgin Mary, she felt like she heard voices in her ears. And in order to continue to follow up the report, Jerry also sneaked into the church to take a sneak shot. But at this time, Alice got up and left after hearing the call, and the other girls in the church, as if bewitched, followed him out of the church. A group of people soon came to the dead tree, and amidst the doubtful looks of the crowd, Alice, who couldn't speak, suddenly spoke, claimed to have seen the Virgin Mary, and said that the next day, Mary will come again. And since the footage was captured, Jerry, for the greater good, found his old boss Monica and hoped Watch Domestic Violence can publish this matter. But considering the newspaper was nearly bankrupt because of Jerry's fake news, so Monica no longer believes what he says. And just after falling asleep that night, Jerry began to dream again and again. Struggling to wake up, he also found he doesn't know when the ceiling above his head covered with mildew. The next day, countless people came here to witness the coming of the Virgin Mary. A mother even brought her son, who has been paralyzed for many years. Alice quickly walked out of the room with a solemn expression, and after receiving instructions from the Holy Mother before the operation, she came to the paralyzed boy and performed her magic. As the boy recovers, everyone knelt down to thank Our Lady for her grace, but they don't know. The statue of the Virgin in the church shed tears of blood as miracles happen. The Vatican also sent Holy Inquisitor Delgard, but on the day of the press conference, the priest was unable to attend due to poor health, and under the persuasion of the doctor Alice, who wants to preach the gospel of Our Lady, still going to the public. In the face of countless inquiries from reporters, Alice obviously prefers to answer Jerry's questions. So after consulting with the regional bishop, Jerry, who is relatively neutral, has exclusive rights to report on the event. Then, the church around the dead tree where Alice performed magic built a greenhouse, and the bishop also found the animal that had been discarded in the broken under the tree baby, but he didn't say anything about it. Thanks to the exclusive right to report, Jerry began to record for everyone the miracle that happened to Alice. It's just a different nature than Alice's. The calmer priest thinks miracles are sometimes not divine manifestations, possibly Satan's track. The next day, Jerry went to church to interview Alice as usual, and at this moment, Alice, who got the voice, can also sing with a beautiful voice. But as accident happened, the priest who was in charge of the command suddenly fell ill. Uncle's life is dying. Alice hurried to help the power of the Virgin, but the priest who had doubts about this matter, under his questioning, he chose to believe. In front of everyone, the priest regained his health instantly, but the priest is in a trance, saw the frightening flicker behind Alice. The figure has been reviewed by the doctor, the priest who was terminally ill. Miraculous recovery. And with the results of the previous review of the little boy, the church finally concluded the small town of Banfield is where miracles happen. As churches announce findings, Jerry, who reported the incident, became a hit. His old boss also hopes that he can return to the editorial department. Since Alice only wants to talk to herself, so Jerry holds the bargaining chip, rehabilitated priest. But inadvertently, an ancient diary hidden in a crevice was found. The paintings in the diary all show someone once believed in Satanism in the church, and this also made the priest start to worry. At the same time, the doctor learned of the doll's existence, but in his mind, such a strange harvest doll usually seals evil spirits while by the river. After seeing the farmhouse that appeared in the dream, Jerry is having some kind of hallucination again, so he immediately asked the priest about the situation. Priests available at church, but encountered the evil spirit of the warning rope, and when Jerry arrived, the priest hangs himself in church. But since suicide is one of the shameful acts of the church, so the bishop wants him to keep quiet. Jerry is back at the hotel that night, feeling the chill all over again, and when he reviewed the video data recorded during the day, Moore found the moment Alice receives instructions from the Virgin. A strange image appeared on the screen. After constant slow motion, Jerry finally sees the fuzzy image clearly. Considering that it is impossible for the priest to commit suicide, with the help of the doctor, Jerry found historical imprints about the church, and in the notebook found by the priest, relevant information about Satanism is recorded. Originally in 1845, a name, Mary's daughter tempted by Satan, and used the power of the devil. Mary healed many believers who came here admiringly. It's just that Satan's conspiracy was quickly revealed. The church also burned Mary on a dead tree, and Mary's soul was sealed in the harvest doll. Jerry's investigation with the doctor apparently pissed off the spirit, but the two escaped the attack of the evil spirit and hurried to the bishop to explain the situation. But the bishop, for the reputation of the town and the church, chose to hide the truth. Without any choice, Jerry can only go to the historical archives to investigate alone. Heaven pays off. Jerry quickly figured out the relationship between Alice and Mary. That was Mary before she was burned to death, gave birth to a baby boy. And Alice is the offspring of this baby boy. According to the curse laid by Mary before she died, he will be resurrected by his descendants. But when Jerry told the doctor about it, cell phone signals suddenly cut off. The data on the computer has also become blurred. At this time, the white Madonna in front of him began to crack after peeling plaster its Mary's hateful eyes. The body officer Delgard arrived in time at the time of crisis, and with his devout prayers, the evil spirit finally screamed and fled. But with the ceremony, evil spirits will definitely be under the belief of believers getting stronger. If left unchecked, possessed Alice will take all souls away. To stop Alice, Delgard prepares to lead Jerry to reseal Mary, but his strength apparently unable to match the already strong Mary. And so, with Delgard's tragic death, Jerry can only go to the ceremony with the doctor. At this time, all believers gathered in front of the dead tree to profess his devotion to the so-called Virgin. Jerry then declared, it's all a lie he made up due to previous convictions. So some people's faith starts to waver, and Alice, who was in a daze, was persuaded by the doctor to say, stop the ceremony, ordered Alice. Soon realized the problem, so he started to fight against the voice in his head. Mary, whose conspiracy was exposed, and then set fire to the dead tree that hanged him that year. The scene of the evil spirits made the gathered crowd scream away. The bishop who tried to exorcise was also burned to death by the fire of hell. Seeing that Jerry is powerless to resist, Alice turned out, standing in front of the evil spirits without hesitation, dies with descendant Alice. Mary also ended up in ashes. Alice's death makes Jerry very sad. Although he once lost his faith, he still prayed devoutly to God, hoping the gods can save Alice, who sacrificed herself for others. Seems like an apparition of God. Alice, who closed her eyes tightly, woke up quickly. And as the world calms down, originally a smash hit town, and finally faded out of people's sight,